Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT network, as well as my own channel, Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, my comments along with yours in the chat. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right. Before we get to the topics, I will bring those up right now. And those are the topics for tonight on the right-hand side of your screen. They will be highlighted whenever which one we're talking about at the time. And just want to say thanks for everybody watching. Really do appreciate it. You guys are the backbone to this particular show and all the shows. Thank you guys so very, very much. All right. In the chat, I want to give a shout out to Rudy Torres, my brother-in-law from Vegas. Says, "Good Friday to you, Bronco Bill. I'm here." That's great. I'm glad you are here. So am I. So let's dive right into the very first topic. Before we do that, real quick, just hope each and every one of you had a wonderful week. You're ready for the weekend. Thanks so much for jumping in. Wherever you may be across this great country and maybe even other countries, thanks for jumping in and being a part of the show on a very busy Friday night, wherever each one of you may be. Thanks very, very much. All right. Very first topic is a new tight end in Denver. That's right. Like we don't have enough tight ends, but maybe you can't have too many because you just got to start weeding out the ones that are not really at that Sean Payton / Denver Broncos / NFL level. That's best process you can do. You know, people say, I don't want to have quarterback competition or any kind of competition. You have to. You know, iron sharpens iron. You don't sharpen iron by rubbing, you don't sharpen a knife by cutting paper. You dull it. You have to, iron sharpens iron. Same with competition. It will allow the cream to rise to the top, and it will also reveal those who just don't get to that level. Here we go. Former LA Chargers tight end Hunter Kempmoyer has been signed by the Denver Broncos. I don't know much about him. Haven't really heard. I did some digging. He never really played. He only played 2 games for the Chargers. Most of the time he was on their practice squad, but not very much NFL experience. In fact, he wasn't even drafted, and Chargers signed him in 2021. Now he's on the Denver Broncos in 2024. Does he stay? Well, we don't know. That will have to be dealt with. Maybe he just didn't fit into the Chargers system. Maybe it's just something that they felt they wanted to go in a different direction. I don't know what that was or is. But maybe the Denver Broncos system, Sean Payton's offense, blocking offense for run game, slant patterns, I don't know. But it could be that. So it's just a matter of seeing whether or not he can play. But I like the signing because it pushes the other tight ends that we have. It pushes everybody. When you bring in other people that want your job as bad as you want your job, if they work harder and they produce better and they get better results, well, there you go. So you can find the diamond in the rough. You certainly can. Let me continue. This one I don't like. This part of this topic I don't like. Here it is. Kempmoyer will be wearing a familiar number in Denver. What number is that? 84. Shannon Sharp's number. That bothers me. Shannon Sharp is in the Hall of Fame. He should have his number retired, just like Terrell Davis should. It just bothers me that when people are in the Hall of Fame, recognized by the NFL as being great, why is their number still out there? And I know people say, well, you're going to run out of numbers eventually. You're really, you mean to tell me there's 99 numbers in football? Because nobody has triple digits. 99 numbers in football. If you count 00, which Jim Otto, the late Jim Otto, did wear for the Raiders, you got to count that. That's 100 numbers. You mean to tell me that the Denver Broncos are going to have 100 people in the Hall of Fame? And I know, guys, before you say anything, say, well, they got to have 53 at least, or they have to have 70 at least. Okay, even so, the Denver Broncos do not have 30 numbers in the Hall of Fame, or 30 Bronco players in the Hall of Fame. And maybe some of them you kind of look at and say, maybe I wouldn't put that, I wouldn't retire that number. Tell me which Bronco is in the Hall of Fame that you would not retire that number. Seriously, Randy Gratishar just went in. I'd retire his in a heartbeat. Why is he in the Hall of Fame? Why? Because he's great. And if he's great, somebody else should not be wearing his number because they're not as great as a Shannon Sharpe. No way, shape, or form. You mean to tell me that Hunter Kempmoyer, who the Chargers never put in the game but twice, spent most of his time on the practice squad, deserves a Hall of Fame number in 84 from Shannon Sharpe? You really believe that? How about Terrell Davis? We saw number 30, Caden Sterns. I got information on him too. Those numbers should be retired. John Elway, number 7 is retired. Floyd Little, number 44 is retired. And Peyton Manning, along with, I can't remember the other guy that had 18 back in the day. Anyways, both of those, not both of them, but that number is retired, period. Nobody's ever wearing those numbers again. And they shouldn't. All 3 of them are in the Hall of Fame. Peyton Manning, that is. All 3 are in the Hall of Fame. Those numbers are retired for a reason. Greatness, success. Floyd Little never won a Super Bowl, but he's in the Hall of Fame for what he did. It's not about Super Bowls. It is to a certain degree, but it's about the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. If a person gets to the Hall of Fame, a number needs to be retired, period. End of discussion. All right, let me continue. Like I mentioned, Kempmoyer only played in 2 games for the Chargers. That's correct. So why does, in my opinion, or let me ask you guys out there in the chat, do you think that Kempmoyer should be wearing number 84? I say absolutely not. How about 88? How about 88? Okay. I mean, Demaryius Thomas, he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he was very instrumental in the Broncos. Now, maybe not Demaryius Thomas' number, but then again, when you think about the impact he had in Denver, in just a very short, tragic ending to his life, horrific, just very sad, very, very sad, and to know what he did, and then the Broncos honored him with the circle on the field with the 88 number on the inside, and every time they scored, they went over and got on a knee and pointed to the number and pointed to heaven. It's, things like that. Does 88 need to be retired? I don't know. That's up for debate. But in my opinion, Kempmoyer should not be wearing 84. Not be wearing 84 at all. At all. And nobody should be wearing number 30 either. Absolutely not. Nobody should be wearing that. All right. Let's go to, this is a work in progress, guys, like it always has been. Let's go to the next topic. So we are moving. All right, I'm getting better. It's starting to. You got to understand. There's a length. Look at the length of the here. This way. Look at the length of the list, and I've got a list just like that on the screen. You guys can't see that I have to highlight in a matter of 3 seconds, and it's not really that easy. But we'll get to it. We'll make it work. All right. Broncos have waived a defensive tackle. We need defensive tackles. We need defensive people. Period. That can play the game. But there's a reason why they waived this particular person. The Denver Broncos have waived defensive tackle Brandon Matterson in a corresponding move after signing Hunter Kempmoyer. That's the reason. You got to make space. You can only have a certain amount of people on your team at any given time. I think that the NFL has now allowed it to be 55 players active, I believe that is, or it's coming soon, or it's proposed, one of the two. Right now, it's a 53-man squad. Plus, you can have, people on the practice squad, but those are numbered as well. So you can't have it's not like college where you can have the whole sideline filled with players. It's not like that. Or high school. It's not like that. It's different in the NFL. Totally different. So when somebody is getting ready to be signed, somebody has to go. So that's the reason why Matterson was let go primarily. He wasn't really instrumental on the Broncos defense. He's a body, he's a fill-in, that kind of thing. But I guess they felt it was worth signing Kemp Moyer and releasing Masterson as opposed to keeping Masterson and not signing Kemp Moyer. So there you go. We'll find out in these preseason. Oh, by the way, last week I said there was a preseason game this coming Sunday. I was wrong. I was corrected in the chat, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, because I pride my show on being honest and trustworthy. So I appreciate that being corrected. So it is officially this Sunday. The Denver Broncos will play the Indianapolis Colts. I'll get into that a little bit later. As you look down the list, the Indianapolis Colts, and I believe it's a 10:30 Sunday morning game in California. So wherever you may be, just whatever your time frame would be, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours ahead. If you're across the pond in England or Germany or wherever, we've had some people pop in from there. Some people who used to live in Germany and now in the United States. Anyways, so just your time frame, you'll know what that is, and then hopefully you can watch the game live. I believe it's on the NFL Network, if I'm not mistaken. I believe. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before on some things, so I could be wrong. But check, like they say, check your local listing, and hopefully you'll be able to see the game. All right, let's go on to topic number 3. All right, this one, Sean Payton just cannot stop from shooting arrows across the bow of Russell Wilson's ship. He just can't. He can't help himself. He just can't help himself. He was so, I would have to say, for lack of a better phrase, he was fed up with Russell Wilson. Absolutely fed up. Didn't want anything to do with him. Oh, he made it look good at times, but he really didn't have any desire to fix Russell Wilson. No, he didn't have any desire at all. Because if he fixed him, then he's stuck with him. He didn't want Russell Wilson at all on the team. I can guarantee you that. Absolutely guarantee you that. So he keeps shooting these barbs right across that bow. So here we go. Sean Payton took a shot at Russell Wilson when he commented that it is important for quarterbacks not to take unnecessary sacks. Oh, well, of course. Every coach is going to say you don't take unnecessary sacks. Throw the ball away. If you have to get out of the pocket, do whatever you got to do, run forward. But Russell Wilson did have issues. Russell Wilson did. He's like 5'3". I joke about it, or 3'5", I say. I joke about it because he's short. He's short for a quarterback in the NFL. He had been successful in Seattle, but primarily that was due to beast mode, running the ball, and Russell Wilson not having to do a whole lot of throwing. And they had a fantastic offensive line, and obviously they beat the Broncos in Super Bowl 48. But we won't talk about that game. Anyways, so whenever Russell Wilson would drop that back to pass, I'd be cringing in my seat because I didn't know what he was going to do. Most likely he was going to take a sack because he can't see over the offensive line to be able to know where the freaking receiver is. And then when he was scrambling, he's going one way, and the Bronco receivers are going the other way. So it was a debacle, absolute debacle with Russell Wilson at quarterback. But let me tell you what Sean Payton said. Oh, here we go. When asked what the most important things they looked for in Bo Nix or Jerrett Stidham was not taking sacks unnecessarily, was at the top of the list. Of course, he just said that. He just said that he doesn't want, excuse me, guys. He just said that he doesn't want quarterbacks taking unnecessary sacks. What are unnecessary sacks? Well, in my opinion, if you're a quick released quarterback like a Drew Brees. Okay, I'll get to that too. Like a Drew Brees, like a let's see, Aaron Rodgers, quick release at times. He likes to run too, but when you have a quarterback with a quick release, Patrick Mahomes, another one. Although he likes to run too, but there's a place and time to run. Okay, there's a place and time to run. When if you throw the ball away, it's going to be intentional grounding. That's worse. Could be, unless you take a big sack. The other time that you might not be able to get rid of the ball or whatever is if somebody is right in your face and jumping up. There are times where it's better to eat the ball and play for another down, unless it's third down, than it is to take an unnecessary sack. And Russell Wilson took a lot of them. A lot of them. Yes, some of them was the offensive line, just not keeping the people out. But then again, that's because Russell Wilson's hanging on the ball for 4 hours. He's not getting rid of it. So when that happens, you're going to take unnecessary sacks because you're not thinking. You're not reading the defense. You're not being able to put yourself in a situation to benefit from a pocket. A lot of times Russell Wilson would run into sacks because he would just run around like a chicken with his head cut off. And he'd take sack after sack after sack. And most of the time it wasn't the offensive line. It was Russell Wilson not getting what was in front of him, not understanding what was in front of him. Let me continue. The media was quick to raise an eyebrow when Payton said those comments because it was totally a huge shot at Russell Wilson. Now, why would the media raise an eyebrow and go, whoa, that was directly at Russell? Of course it was at Russell Wilson. Who else did he have last year? Sean Payton's first head coach job in Denver was last year with Russell Wilson and Jerrett Stidham. He didn't really have a problem with Stidham. He had a problem with Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson was running into sacks unnecessarily because he didn't have a clue on how to throw the ball to the receiver because he couldn't freaking see him. It's easy to take a shot at Russell Wilson for so many different things because he did so many different crazy things. He really did. And I'm not sitting there, trying to beat I don't want to say a dead horse because the Broncos are horses and I'm not going to do that. But I mean, I'm not going to sit there and lambaste Russell Wilson primarily. I mean, there was a lot of fault from Sean Payton. I said it in my show last week that Sean Payton felt that, he came on a little bit too strong with the way he did things. My way or the highway. But yeah, you can have it that way. Just don't do it in such a way that you're turning off your players or your coaches or ownership, whatever. Just you don't need to do that. Everybody does them. New management comes in. I dealt with it at the school district. New management comes in and they're like, "You're doing it this way, Doc. Everything we're cutting, everything back." And no, you don't do it that way. That doesn't work 99% of the time. It doesn't, unless somebody's scared to death and just goes along with it because they don't have no backbone. No, it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, then you're gonna have turmoil. You're gonna have discord. You're gonna be, instead of spokes going into a wheel, you're gonna be like this. You're gonna be all jacked up. You can't have it. He learned from it. He didn't want Russell Wilson. There was a lot of different issues involved in all that. But now we will, and I will get to that the very last, not the last subject, but down the road we'll get to we'll get to what's coming up for the depth chart. All right. Okay, let me get to the comments real quick. Kamani Dixon is in the chat. What's up, Kamani? Always nice to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for popping in. Really do appreciate it. Follows it up by saying, another broadcast with you. Yes. All right, man. Thank you so much, Kamani. Really do appreciate it, man. And football is right around the corner, buddy. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, the first game is this Sunday. I know I mentioned last week that it was last Sunday, but I was corrected, and rightfully so, and I appreciate it. It's this Sunday against the Colts, and I will have a depth chart to bring you on that in just a few more segments, a few more topics. But yeah, Kamani, I can't wait for football. Madungus Creepy and myself are getting excited for the season to bring you Broncos neighborhood. It's always fun. It's always crazy. You never know what's gonna happen, what's gonna be said. You never know, man. Never know. So everybody out there that's watching, tune in to Broncos neighborhood week 1 against Seattle. Madungus Creepy and myself will be doing that. I guess it's kind of like a Manning cast, but maybe a little bit more off the wall. I don't know, but it's something similar to that. It's our own way of doing it. Kamani follows up by saying, "Yes, I love you guys. Absolutely, Kamani, I love you too, man. Man, I feel like I've known you forever, and that's why it's always great to have people in the chat. I don't, at least me personally, I feel kind of a connection, and I really look forward to seeing the names pop up in the chat. I really do. I don't take it for granted, guys. I really don't take it for granted. I respect and appreciate each and every one of you, and I don't take it for granted that you guys will be here every week. I know you guys got lives and things to do and all that and families, but I really do appreciate when you do stop in. It's very, very encouraging, and I love you guys to death. All right, let's go to topic number 4. Here we go. All right. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, speaking of Drew Brees with the quick release and reading defense and all that, Jerrett Stidham has been working out with Drew Brees. Why? Well, Sean Payton loved Drew Brees. He knows Drew Brees. He had Drew Brees on the Saints for 12 years. They won a Super Bowl together, and he single-handedly, along with the other coaches, of course, transformed Drew Brees into a mediocre quarterback with the Chargers before he got hurt and traded to the New Orleans Saints and became a Super Bowl champion. Why? How is that possible? Coaching. Sean Payton, knowing the system, learning the system, absolutely digesting the system, day, night, in between meals, whatever, just grasping everything that Sean Payton was teaching. Now, I'm not going to bash Russell Wilson, but one more time, and that is Russell Wilson never got it. He absolutely never got it. Now, is that his fault? Not necessarily. Maybe he just isn't that type to be able to understand and process a very complex Sean Payton verbiage and playbook. Drew Brees can. Drew Brees did. Russell Wilson, not so much. So what took place is this. The Denver Broncos sent Jerrett Stidham to San Diego. Wow, my backyard. Well, not really. It's about 75, 80 miles from here. But that's where the county I grew up in. Anyways, sent Jerrett Stidham to San Diego to work out with Drew Brees. I didn't know Drew Brees lived here. He may not. They may just use a facility somewhere, whatever. Anyways, Brees broke numerous records and a Super Bowl title under Sean Payton. Payton wants his. Now, this is a lot like John Elway thinking when Elway was a GM. Listen to what Sean Payton said. Sean Payton wants his quarterbacks to emulate the habits of his former quarterback in Drew Brees. Ooh, I kind of don't like that, because not everybody can be somebody else or emulate somebody else. You can work on it. You can strive to do it, but there is no clone. There is no second Drew Brees. There is no second John Elway or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. There just isn't. You could have people that say, wow, that guy kind of looks like kind of looks like Peyton Manning, or kind of throws like Peyton Manning, or has the attributes of a John Elway or a Patrick Mahomes. But to sit there and say he wants them to emulate. Now, another thing bothers me about that comment. Listen to this. Think about this, guys. He didn't say anything about Bo Nix. Not one word in that last topic I just read for you. Not one word was mentioned about Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix is a rookie. Is Bo Nix like Drew Brees already? Emulating, so to speak? I don't know. maybe Sean Payton isn't going to play Bo Nix in preseason or much in preseason. I'll get to that too. Maybe Sean Payton is looking at Jerrett Stidham as being the starter in week 1. And he wants him to emulate Drew Brees' whatever, mechanics, quick release, accuracy, reading defense. I don't know. Didn't say. I don't know what they're working on. But if Sean Payton and the Broncos sent Jerrett Stidham to San Diego to work out with Drew Brees, didn't say for how many days. I imagine it's several. What's the real reason behind that? Well, he said he wants his quarterbacks. That's what it said right here. He said he wants his quarterbacks, not just one in Stidham, quarterbacks. Where's the second one? Where's Wilson? Not Russell. Where's Zach Wilson? Not mentioned. Interesting. When I saw that topic, I went, whoa, I got to talk about this because of the simple fact he said quarterbacks and there's only one. Does it mean it's going to be Stidham this week? Well, preseason starts in 2 days. What are you going to do? Send Bo Nix down there on Monday morning? If that was the case, then he wanted his quarterbacks. Why wasn't Bo Nix there? Well, somebody's got to be at practice. Well, he had Zach Wilson. Just keep him in there. It just is rubbing me the wrong way when he emphasizes quarterbacks to emulate his former quarterback in Drew Brees, and yet there's only one quarterback. Jerrett Stidham. Interesting. All right, let's go to the comments. Come on, Dixon says from Mountain Dew to Ding Dongs. Yeah. Well, we've run the gamut all over the place, man. When it comes to the Bronco neighborhood, yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. Come on, he says everyone Bronco Bill is my grandpa. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that, but hey, I am a grandpa. That's for sure. I am a grandpa. I have a grandson and a granddaughter, but hey, Kamani, I love it, man. Love your comments always. Love your little twist of things. And it's, I really do look forward to it. Absolutely. I agree with you, Kamani. It says, let Bo Nix start and call it a day. I agree, but I'll get into that. And then I want some of your comments in the chat, but it's very, very interesting that what I'm about to bring when it comes to the depth chart. It's eye-opening. It really is eye-opening because I never I'm not gonna spoil it. But all right. Okay. Let's go to the next topic, which is a reinstatement of a player that was suspended for over a year. Let's go. All right. I'm not going to even try and pronounce his first name. Last name was hard enough, but I worked on it quite a bit. Uwazurike has been reinstated. Now, for those of you who may not remember, he was suspended for gambling. I'll read this. Article. He was suspended for gambling. The NFL suspended him for 54 weeks. That's over a year. 2 weeks, but that's because it was 2 weeks prior to. Well, I don't know why it was an extra 2 weeks unless they added it on for some reason. Anyways, he was suspended for gambling, and he did some gambling on the Broncos. Ooh, that ain't good. Here it is. The NFL has reinstated Uwazurike after his 54-week gambling suspension, and he has been activated on the Broncos roster. That's fantastic. However, just like when they signed Camp Moyer and cut what was his name? And cut Matterson, there's been another cut because of the reinstatement by Uwazurike. And I'll get into that right after this topic. Uwazurike said, and I quote, "I'm grateful to the Denver Broncos and the NFL for giving me the opportunity to resume my NFL career. I've learned from this situation and taken steps to ensure it will never happen again." End quote. Good for him. Absolutely great for him. Not good, great for him. Because when a person's in a situation where there's a gripping addiction or a gripping tug or outside interference or peer pressure, anything of that nature, it's very, very difficult to get out of. Extremely difficult. And especially, if it's peer pressure and you keep hanging around the same people, if it's situational issues, like you're in a certain situation now, you feel like you need this or you need that or you need to do this or do that, whatever. Those are never good, ever good. So that being said, I commend Uwazurike for owning up to it, for saying, "Hey, you know what? I know I did wrong." Basically, he was saying, I owned up to my gambling situation, and I think and feel it's sincere. I really do, because the NFL did not have to reinstate him. The NFL has been very, very strict and strong against gambling. Period. Especially you can't gamble in the NFL, and no way, shape, or form can you gamble and bet on your own team. Even when you're, even if you're not playing, it doesn't matter. You can't do it because there's possibility of influencing players and things of that nature, or causing things in the game to go a different way, So you can't do it, period. And they don't even want to encourage gambling, so they say you can't do it even on other sports. So the whole thing to me is, if he's not sincere about saying he'd learned his lesson, basically, so to speak, is what he said. If he isn't serious about that, he won't be in the NFL for long. And that's what the NFL stands for. If you're that kind of person, not for long, because the NFL is not going to put up with it. They're just not. There's certain things the NFL doesn't put up. And what I find interesting, and I've mentioned this many, many times, the NFL says you can't bet or gamble, period. But yet they're in cahoots with gambling. They advertise like crazy. MGM Grand or MGM Bet, or the what's that Lion one? Well, that probably is MGM. But they also have other gambling things that you can do on the internet, and so easily done. So it's kind of like they're speaking out of your, both sides of their mouth. It's saying, "We don't want you to gamble. Hey, by the way, we kind of condone it, but only for those who aren't playing in the NFL. So it's okay for that." So that's who we're targeting. We're not really targeting the players in the NFL. That's not what we're doing. We're targeting the people who are not in the NFL, who may want to put a friendly wager. Then they have the disclaimer that says, if you have a gambling problem, call this number. To me, it's oxymoron. It's double standard. It's talking out of both sides of your mouth. So I'm glad that Uwazurike is back on the team. I know it's good. Sean Payton even said that we're working him in slowly because he doesn't know the system. He wasn't here last year to know the system. There's different players, there's different verbiage, there's different everything. So they're working him back in slowly, which is great. But he gets a second opportunity, a second chance, which I find very, very commending from the NFL and from the Denver Broncos. The NFL could have reinstated, and Denver could, screw you. No, we're not taking you back. No, they didn't. They're giving him a second chance, and that's why he thanked the Broncos and the NFL. So I hope he's on the right track. I hope he's doing the right thing. I hope what he said is sincere, and he wants it to be that. I really do wish him all the best. I really do wish him all the best. It just bothers me that the NFL is in bed with gambling internet websites or whatever, gambling sites, and yet they're extremely strict on NFL players or NFL personnel gambling. And just doesn't seem right. It doesn't. It's like telling your child, or telling, you can't do this, and turn around and then you do it yourself after you said that you can't do it. I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. I just don't like it. I just don't like that type of running a business. I know it's about money, but golly, find money somewhere else. If you're telling them not to do something and you turn around and do it yourself, I mean, the NFL itself is not gambling, but they're condoning it is my point. That's my point. All right, let's get back to the comments, and they are Mile High Salute, DB for life. Love it, man. Welcome to the chat. It says, what's up, Bill? I say, what's up, Mile High Salute, DB for life. I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for jumping in the chat. Appreciate it. Let's see. Big E Bronco is in the house. Hey, Big E, what's going on, my friend? So, well, look at the referee song that plays the vet on the Kansas City Chiefs. And the referee was referee in that game in Kansas City won. That's true. That's true. Or you meant vet, bet, not vet. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's rampant throughout the entire NFL. And then when the NFL condones gambling by taking their money, by putting their ads on there and such, MGM, and I forget what the other ones are because I don't gamble. I hate giving away money that for no reason. I mean, charitable things or money to a church or other organizations. Yes, they use it for their good. Not like, I mean, obviously casinos use it for their good. They use it for their pocketbook. But I'm talking about you're not doing it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not getting anybody that wants to, that's fine. That's your own thing. But I'm just not a person that gambles. I just can't do it. It's just not me. I just can't do it. Anyways, so I totally agree with you. I totally agree. It's rampant throughout the entire NFL, and it's not going to stop until people get more. I'll tell you how you stop it. As soon as somebody gambles and you find out about it, they're out of the league. Period. That's when it'll stop, because people say, "Oh shoot, man, I got me a good gig here. I'm making me some good money, and I don't want to get cut out of the league now." No, that's when it'll stop. Reinstating, and like I said, I'm glad that they reinstated Uwazurike. But if they really wanted to send a strong message, you send a message as, okay, next person we find out who's gambling and we can prove it, you're out of the league for good. Out of the league for good. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Then it'll stop. But that also has to have a flip side. The NFL cannot prosper off of gambling sites on commercials in their games. You cannot have it both ways. You can't. It's like straddling a picket fence. You're going to get gored. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. And that's what's happening in the NFL. You're punishing people who are doing it, which is correct, but then you're advertising and taking their money because you're putting their ads on your commercials during games. All right, I'll get off my high horse. I'll get off my soapbox. But hey, I mean, I just get passionate about a lot of things, as you guys can tell. My show's always that way because I bring in the topics that make me passionate, that struck a chord with me when I was going through researching the topics for the week. I do it every single Monday through Thursday, and Friday morning before I get my topics lined up the way I want. I do a lot of research, guys. And when the ones that rub me the right way, the wrong way, yeah, those are the ones I'm going to talk about. Absolutely going to talk about. All right. My brother-in-law, Rudy Torres from Vegas, says, I'm here too, Mr. Bill. Well, good. I'm glad you are here, man. So am I. So we're just having a very, very good time. Very good time. Now, with the reinstate of Uwazurike, something had to happen. Let's get to that topic right now. All right. If you notice, it says a shocking twist. Yes, very shocking. Now, Caden Sterns, ironically, wears number 30, so that hopefully won't be worn by somebody else. but the Broncos have released safety Caden Sterns. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't we release a safety at the end of the year? Justin Simmons? And he was going to be replaced by Caden Sterns. Not now. So who do we have? PJ Locke? Okay. Third one on the depth chart. Speaking of depth charts, we'll get in that in a little bit. Third one on the depth chart. We don't have a Justin Simmons. Now we don't have a Caden Sterns who was set to come back off an injury. But because Uwazurike was reinstated, they cut Caden Sterns. Now, I have an issue with this. Why do I have an issue with this? Because now we are totally depleting our secondary and our safety position. And I know that we have that guy Jones, I can't remember his first name, Brandon Jones, I believe it is, that we signed from the Miami Dolphins. Oh, by the way, who wasn't a starter. He was a backup in Miami. So we released Justin Simmons, who's a starter, a Pro Bowler, a fantastic safety, most interceptions in the time with the Broncos at 30 interceptions. And he's released. And now we release Caden Sterns because we have Jones. Really? And PJ Locke? Really? That's going to be our safeties. So I ask you guys, what in heaven's name is Sean Payton and George Payton thinking about? Well, we got to save $14 million. You can save it somewhere else. Restructure contracts. Release somebody not nearly as good as a Justin Simmons. Well, if he's not as good, he's not going to be making $14 million. Then cut a couple of people. Restructure contracts. Do what you have to do to keep a Justin Simmons, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. You cannot get rid of your great cornerstone players. I've mentioned this in shows past. You don't get rid of a Justin Simmons, and you don't get rid of a Patrick Surtain II. You just don't. What? I guess they did. And they go, well, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We got Caden. Oh, no, wait a minute. We don't, because we're bringing back Uwazurike. Oh, who was out for over a year, 54 weeks? And you cut Caden Sterns, who played for the Broncos last year, did quite well before he got injured. But you're going to bring this guy back who's been out of the league for over a year. I have no idea what they're doing. I really have no idea what they're doing. None. I'm confused. I'm totally confused. Some of the moves I like. Most of them I don't. And I don't like the Josie Jewell trade. I don't like the Cushionberry issue being gone. I don't like Jerry Jeudy being traded. I'll get into that too. I don't like a lot of these moves. I really don't. Definitely hated the Justin Simmons release because he's a cornerstone guy. Patrick Surtain looked up to him. Even though he didn't play safety, he looked up to him because of the leadership. I've said it before. Something underlying had to have happened. Something underlying had to have happened for the Broncos to not find different ways to come up with saving $14 million and keeping a Justin Simmons. Something else had to happen. I just don't know what that is. I've tried to rack my brain. I just don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. I don't think we as Broncos country fans or Broncos fans being Broncos country, I don't think we'll ever know. Absolutely don't think so. All right. Let me go back to the comments real quick here before we move on. Come on. He says, calm down, Bill. You're turning red. We all agree gambling is wrong. I know, guys. I get into these soapboxes. I get into these passionate comments. And my wife was always telling me, she's like, you go on and on and on. And I said, that's just my personality. I want to get things off my chest. And until I've exhausted everything that I can think of about the topic, then I feel like I haven't said enough. But obviously, I have said enough. And Kamani, thank you very much. I will try and do my best to reel in some of my overly, not exaggerated, but overly extended soapbox comments. Okay. All right. I'm deep breath. All right. Kamani follows up by says, who's making this crazy decision, cutting people and then using backups for starters? That's what I'm saying. It's exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense to me. And yes, I know the guys are cheaper, but guess what? The old saying, you get what you pay for. And if you want excellence, you're going to have to pay for excellence. If you want mediocre, okay, right in the middle. You want to save a lot of money and not do so well, you're at the bottom. We'll see what this season has in store. Definitely see what this season has in store when it comes to defense. I don't know. I really don't know because guys, they're not going to throw at PS2. They're not going to. Every now and then, once in a blue moon, they will. But they don't want to. Who are they going to throw to? The other side. And you don't really need a safety over top PS2 because he's a shutdown corner, a lot like Champ Bailey. But you need a safety over top the second guy, the second corner, because he's not as good as PS2. Well, what great safety do we have back there now? Jones? Yeah, right. PJ Locke? I don't know. A lot of people say he has a lot of upside. Well, when you had a Justin Simmons back there, we didn't see a whole lot of PJ Locke. Not a whole lot. So I don't know. The jury's still out on them where I'm concerned. So I don't know. But you're right though. You're right, Kamani. I mean, who does that? Really? It's just you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. What the heck? It's just wrong, Kamani follows up by saying maybe Payton, maybe Sean Payton and George Payton having too much wine, or maybe they have a brain freeze. Yeah, it's absolutely either one or both. Either one or both, man, because they're making some decisions that are just out there. I just don't get it. I absolutely don't get some of the decisions that they're making. I really don't. Let's see. Rudy Torres said Judge Judy. No. The jury is still out on the whole reason why you make these ridiculous moves. But maybe we do need a Judge Judy. Who knows? I mean, she was pretty strict and by the book, man. On some of those shows, I didn't watch a whole lot. I didn't really see them. Just flipping through the channel and kind of catch my eye for about 30 seconds. But anyways, let's see. How's a mother-in-law? I always check in on her. Absolutely, you do. Kamani, thank you so much. She's doing good. She's 95 years old. 95 years old. And you know what? She still cooks. She walks real slow. I mean, of course you're going to walk slow at 95. But yeah, she cooks. She gets around. Doesn't need any help in getting bathed or dressed or anything. But thank you. Really do appreciate the check-in on her. Really do appreciate it, Kamani. Thank you so very, very much. Okay, so I talked about the Caden Sterns and all that, but I didn't read the actual article. So here it is. The Denver Broncos cut Caden Sterns to make room for reinstated Uwazurike. Sterns has been injured but was expected to be healthy when the season started. Some teams had him in for physical, but he failed the physical. Now, did he fail the physical because he's still injured? Most likely. But that means there were people already interested in signing Caden Sterns because they asked him to take a physical, of which he didn't pass. Not too many people have inclined about Justin Simmons. And I'll get to that the next to the last topic of the show. Not too many people have looked into signing Justin Simmons. Is it because of his contract? I don't think so. 14 million is not that much. For a high quality safety like he is. But there is one that is in talks, and we'll get to that in just a few more topics. But I just thought of it. It just clicked on me, Rudy, when you said Judge Judy. No, I'm talking about Jerry Judy, not Judge Judy. It just dawned on me. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Okay, let's go to the next topic. We'll do that right now. Okay. The throwback jerseys that everybody seems to love. And the only reason why I wore this, I know this isn't the throwback logo, but it's a different orange and blue hat that I normally wear, that kind of thing. So kind of like if you look at the picture in the top left of PS2, it says throwbacks being worn twice. They're going to be worn twice this year. Okay. And there's also going to be an alternate, the all blues, my favorite jersey and uniform of all Broncos ever is the blue jersey and the blue pants. Absolutely my favorite. Absolutely, hands down my favorite. The throwback one, I probably should have worn my throwback John Elway jersey that my son got me years ago. It's a white one. It's a home one, or was it a away one? I think it's a away one because back then they were orange jerseys like they are now, which is not what I like. But anyways, I digress. But I probably should have worn that. But anyways, they're going to wear the throwback jerseys twice this year. Let me get into the actual article. The Denver Broncos will wear the throwback uniforms 2 times this season, and their alternate jersey as well as the alternate jersey as well. The Broncos' 1977 throwback uniform will be worn in Week 5 against the Raiders. That's not by accident. That is not by accident, in my opinion, and I'll tell you why. 1977. I don't know how many of you were Bronco fans back in 77. I was a Bronco fan since 76. 1977 was the year that the other 7, Craig Morton, was the Broncos quarterback for the Denver Broncos team. The Broncos were always a stepchild to the then Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders were dominant back in the early to mid 70s. And when the Denver Broncos beat the Oakland Raiders in the championship game to have the right to go to Super Bowl and play the Dallas Cowboys, that was monumental. That was the Orange Crush days of 1976 and 77 and 78 and moving on. Those are the Orange Crush days, of which Randy Gradishar was part of which others were part of. And the reason why, in my opinion, they chose the throwback uniform for the 1977 season, those throwbacks, is because of the Raiders. Absolutely. They wanted to honor that Orange Crush team for beating the Oakland Raiders and going to their first ever Super Bowl. Now, they didn't win it. They lost to the Cowboys. I believe it was 23-10. That 10 came up a lot for the Broncos at Super Bowls prior to winning it. But anyways, they lost to the Cowboys. I was crushed. It just absolutely crushed me. And, it was a tough pill to swallow because I figured if we could beat the Oakland Raiders, who we have never or could hardly beat, well, much like today. But back then it was monumental because it was David and Goliath, basically. It was the mighty Raiders against the lowly Broncos, so to speak, until that year. And when the Broncos knocked off the Raiders and went to the Super Bowl, that was the turning point of the Broncos moving forward into the 80s and then winning championships in the 90s and then again in 2016. So that was the monumental stepping stone. And I think it's great that they're honoring that particular year, that particular uniform, and not ironically, but against the Oakland Raiders in Week 5 in Denver. Let me continue. The second throwback will be worn Week 18 against the Kansas City Chiefs, also at Denver, of course. The all blues with the white helmet hasn't been determined as to which game they will wear them. I hope they wear them all year. They won't. But man, I love that all blues. Love the all blues. Absolutely. I don't know. It makes the orange pop. It just looks fantastic to me. Absolutely, it looks fantastic. But that hasn't been determined when they're going to wear them. I kind of would like them to wear them. I don't know all the games are important, but I don't know. Do I want it against a divisional team? I don't really care. I just can't wait to see them because, like I said, they are my favorite Bronco uniform of all ever. ever, ever, ever. I do like the throwback away jersey that my son got me years ago with John Elway's number on it. I love that one. It's very comfortable. I like the design. Now, if they went to that one completely, I would have no problem with it. No problem with it. It's just, I don't know, just something about the All Blues. And I promised Kamani that I wouldn't get on a soapbox and go nuts with extending the topics. But that, yeah, I have no, I don't, you know what? I don't care anymore. I went on a soapbox about the uniforms change and everything, but I don't like change really unless I make it, only because I'm unaware. I don't like to get caught off guard. That bothers me. I get very defensive when I get caught off guard. And so when that happened, I was very against it. I was very like, I'm not buying a uniform. I can't stand it with it. You know what? Hey, if they win in them, fantastic. I'm all about wins. I don't care what they wear. Well, I do. I don't want to see, I'm not going down that road. Anyways, so, it doesn't matter. I just want wins. And as long as we get wins, hey, I'll be one happy camper. They can wear whatever the heck they want to. All right. Before going on to the next topic, back to the comments. Let's see. Kamani Diggs says, well, let me put it up real quick. Kamani Diggs says they should wear them for every home game. Wear what? The throwback jerseys is what you're saying, or the All Blues? Yeah, the throwbacks are All Blues. What do you mean, Kamani? But whichever one you're saying, it wouldn't bother me a bit either. I just, one thing I don't want changed, and thank goodness they did. I love this logo. I really love this logo. It looks more aggressive, more mean. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a very determined way. Not mean to hurt somebody. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, having that winning attitude. It just seems more to that style than the old D with the horse blowing that looks like smoke coming out of his nose. It does, I don't know. I just didn't like that one. If they didn't have the horse with the smoke or whatever the thing it is, vapor, whatever it's trying to be, that might probably be a lot different. You notice they don't have the smoke coming out of this one. See, it's just little things like that. But I'm glad they kept this logo because I really like it a lot. Okay, Kamani explains not just the throwbacks, not just the All Blues, but he says both of them, switch them up. I would agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. You got 8 home games. Sometimes you have 9. This year, the Broncos have 9 home games, I believe. Is it 9 home games? Yeah, because we got, I think so. Anyway, I've got to check. I'm not quite sure. Anyways, you're going to have at least 8 home games. You're right. You could switch them up. You could alternate every other home game. You wear the other uniform. First home game of the season, you wear the throwbacks. Second home game of the season, you wear the All Blues. Third home game and so forth. I don't see a problem with that. I really don't. I don't know why so many teams have to have like 4 or 5 different alternate uniforms. And I know it's about money. I got it. They want to sell the uniform. They want to sell the jerseys. I understand that. I get that. I know it's all driven by money. But there should become a point in time where too much is too much. You get to the point where you're just overly saturated. Stick with something that works. And as long as you're winning, people will buy them. They will buy them as long as you're winning. That's the key word. You got to win. Just like selling tickets. You want the stadium to be sold out? Start winning. Put a product on the field. Now, I don't condone to that. That's me. I'll watch the Broncos. I don't care if they went 0-19 or 0-18. It wouldn't bother me. Or 0-17. They play 18 games or bye. Okay, think though. It wouldn't bother me if we went 0-17. I mean, it would bother me because I'm a Bronco fan. I want wins. But what I'm trying to say is I'd still watch the games. I still would watch the games. Absolutely. Because that's my team. But a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people only want to watch the game if they're winning. Well, you're not guaranteed of any of that. You're not guaranteed of a win. I'm a big Cub fan, as you can see behind me on the flag. I'm a big Cub fan. I watch every Cub game. I have the MLB.TV app. I watch every Cub game. I watched the other night when they got drilled, but then again, I watch them when they have fantastic comebacks because you never know until the game is over. So I watch because I'm always hoping that my team will win. Somehow, some way, as long as the game's still being played, there is hope. Well, unless you're last year and you play the Miami Dolphins and you get your doors blown off and you give up 35 points in the first half and 35 points in the second half, then, but Madungus Creevy and I did the Broncos neighborhood for the entire game. We were actually cheering for Dolphins to set an NFL record with most points. But they had pity on the Broncos, so they kept it at 70 and not 77 or 76 or whatever. So, yeah, it's I totally agree, Kamani. I totally agree. I'd switch it up. Absolutely switch it up because I think it'd be fun. I really do. I think it'd be great. All right, let's go to the third to the last topic of the show. Thanks once again, guys, for being part of the show, for being in the chat, for watching wherever you may be on this busy Friday evening right before your weekend. And thanks once again, guys, for your support and your loyalty. Really, really do appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much. All right, let's go to the third to the last topic, and here we go. All right, Jerry Jeudy's trade saga. Now, this is interesting. You know, Cortland Sutton's name was shopped around as being a possible trade commodity or, trade bait or however you want to say it. But he never got traded. He stayed in Denver. Jerry Jeudy's is a little bit different. Let me read this. Jerry Jeudy asked the Denver Broncos to trade him before last season. Jeudy said, and I quote, "At the beginning of the season, I asked Sean Payton for a trade. I asked Sean for a trade, and he said no. Sean was like, we love you, and we want you here. He was not going to trade me, basically." End quote. Jerry Jeudy continued by saying the following, and I quote, "I'm the one that decided that move." You're the one that decided to move? I don't think so. Let me continue. He says, "I'm the one that decided that move. I made the decision to come to Cleveland, and I'm excited about my decision." End quote. Jeudy can say he made the decision all he wants, but ultimately, it is the Broncos that granted him his wish. No doubt. Denver Broncos didn't have to trade Jerry Jeudy if they didn't want to. They could have let him sit out, be disgruntled, whatever. But they figured, you know what? If he doesn't want to be here and he doesn't want to, be part of the team and instrumental or whatever because he got his feelings hurt or he's butt hurt or something because he didn't catch that many passes. Well, nobody really did except Cortland Sutton because that's the only guy that Russell Wilson could see. 9 times out of 10, Russell Wilson just threw the freaking ball up. And Cortland Sutton had to make these ridiculous catches, which he did. And they were fantastic catches. But he should never have had to make those kind of catches if you had a quarterback that was more competent in getting the ball to him a lot sooner. Jerry Jeudy, and another thing about Jerry Jeudy is a very precise runner. I've mentioned this in shows past. Very precise runner. If you have a quarterback running to the right and Jerry Jeudy's designed route is to run up and to the left, there's no way he's going to be able to see. There's no way he's going to be able to see what Jerry Jeudy is doing. There's no way he'll be able to see him because he's running the wrong way. Russell Wilson runs to his right. Cortland Sutton's more of a, hey, where's my quarterback? I'm going to go find him and get open kind of guy, or a 50-50 jump ball kind of guy. Jerry Jeudy is not that type of route runner. He's not. He's a very precise route runner. And that's why Jerry Jeudy was getting frustrated because he wasn't getting the ball. Well, no kidding. You're doing the route, and Russell Wilson's running all over creation and then getting sacked. So, I don't fault Jerry Jeudy for wanting a trade. I just think it was kind of childish that he goes around and claims that he's the one that chose Cleveland. I'm the one that made this decision. No, you're not. You may have pushed the buttons and you may have caused the Broncos brass to think about trading you and ultimately doing it. But you did not go, I guarantee you, Jerry Jeudy, you did not go to Sean Payton and George Payton and say, you know what? I want to go to Cleveland. So make it happen. I doubt seriously that was it. I doubt seriously. Because they were shopping Jerry Jeudy quite a few places. But they were not excited about Sean Payton did not want to trade him. Plain and simple. But I guess when it came down to the fact that Jerry Jeudy wasn't going to be a focused wide receiver for the Denver Broncos moving forward, they had to do something. Now, when did they ask Jerry Jeudy, hey, what are some of the teams you want us to talk to? I don't know. I doubt that. I don't know. I wasn't in the room. I don't have an idea. But it just seems strange that he would do something like that, or that the Broncos would grant him that. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. But it was ultimately the Denver Broncos that were the one to actually get it done, not Jerry Jeudy telling George Payton and Sean Payton, this is where I'm going and you can't stop me kind of thing. Now, I ain't buying that. That's not what happened. It's not what happened. All right. Back to the comment line, so to speak. Well, as a telephone is the way it used to be. Okay. Kamani says, Uncle Bill, I'm a diehard Broncos fan and a diehard Yankees fan too. There you go. See, so I know, Kamani, that you watch games. You'll watch them. No questions asked. Absolutely. Because that's what diehard fans do. You cannot be a fan. In my opinion, you can't be a really true fan and not watch your team. Because fans is short for fanatic. And fanatics are crazed about what they like and what they don't like. I mean, I'm a big Cubs fan. I was crushed year after year after year until 2016. And now I'm crushed again this year because they can't seem to, get back on a winning track. And now they have a new manager ironically, from the Brewers, and that's still the Brewers are still in first place and the Cubs are in next to last. But anyway, that's baseball. But I'm just saying I am a diehard Broncos fan too. I watch every single game. Guys, there's only 18 of them. Or 17 of them, 18 weeks, but bye week. There's only 17 games, period. You can't watch one Broncos game a week. Not you, Kamani, not you, not anybody in the chat, because I know you guys are diehard. But I'm just saying in general, people in general. They say, well, I got other things to do. That's why they call it a DVR. Well, I'd rather watch it live. Then watch it live. It's only 3 hours, 3.5 hours of one day of a 7-day week, period. One day. That's how I look at it. Baseball is harder to watch because it's every single day. But I do it. It's every single day. If I can't watch it, I listen to it on the audio from the MLB.TV app. So if I'm not watching, I'm listening to a Cub game. But I'm always watching Broncos game. And that's what I'm saying. If you're a fan, you're a fan. Period. Plain and simple. All right. Kamani also follows up by saying, I think it was both ways with Jeudy and Broncos. I think they both didn't want the spotlight on him and the Broncos. Great point, Kamani. They had enough negativism swirling around when Hackett was hired, and enough swirling around with the whole Russell Wilson debacle. And then with Sean Payton coming in and throwing barbs at Hackett and throwing Wilson under the bus and yelling at him on the sideline. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think they're like, okay, whoa, we're done. We don't want any more spotlight. We don't want, we want to stay under the radar. Let's just move on. Let's just move on and let him go where he wants to go. Let him be happy where he wants to be happy. And we'll just deal with it and we'll move on ourselves. So yeah, I think you're 100% right, Kamani, in saying that. Absolutely 100% right. Dead on. Great comment. All right. Let's go to the last topic. And that is now. All right, guys. I was talking about Justin Simmons earlier, saying that Caden Sterns has already had some teams inquire about his services, and yet he didn't pass the physical, which could have been due to his injury recovery or whatever, but he didn't pass. But Justin Simmons hasn't really been contacted by a lot of teams. Why? Could it be contract? Could it be age? I mean, he's only 30. It's not that old. But could it be age? Could it be contract? Could it be salary, what he wants to be getting in the future? Could it be long-term contract he wants? Could be a number of things. But there is one team that has already started to talk to him. Here it is. Since the Denver Broncos released Justin Simmons earlier this year, he has yet to be signed by any NFL team. However, he has met with the New Orleans Saints this past week to discuss the idea of joining forces. Saints coach Dennis Allen said about Simmons, and I quote, "This is a guy that has been a good player in our league for a very long time. He's a player that has shown an interest in us." Oh, really? Well, why? Dennis Allen. There's a lot of connections between Justin Simmons and the New Orleans Saints, players and coaches. Okay, let me continue. We have guys on our staff and guys that have played with him, end quote. Nothing has been finalized as the season gets closer, but Allen did say the following, and I quote, "The Saints and Simmons representatives and we are probably a lot closer than earlier talks," end quote. There you go. Does Justin Simmons go to the Saints? Well, if he does, guess what, guys? The Denver Broncos play the New Orleans Saints this year in New Orleans. It's already going to be a tough game because Sean Payton's going to be going home to where he coached the New Orleans Saints for 12 seasons, and Drew Brees. He's going back. Regardless if Justin Simmons is on the team or not, he is going to the Saints because the Denver Broncos play the Saints this year. If Justin Simmons is on the Saints, do you think for one moment he isn't going to get amped up for that game? He isn't going to get pumped up for that game? You know Justin Simmons knows Sean Payton. He knows the Broncos defense. He played on it for 8 seasons. He played under Sean Payton last year. He played under the coaches that the Broncos have last year, including the defensive coach in Vance Joseph. He knows Joseph's scheme. You don't think for 1 minute he goes to the Saints. If he goes to the Saints and he spills all the beans that he knows about the Broncos and what they like to do in certain situations, you don't think he's going to tell the Saints coaches that? Absolutely he will. No freaking doubt about it. And he'll want to send a strong message. Hey, guys shouldn't have got rid of me. I can still play. And I guarantee you, if he goes to the Saints, that game all of a sudden becomes extremely hard and harder than it would have if he wasn't on the team. And I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying if he goes there. It's already going to be emotionally charged game for Sean Payton. It's going to be hard for him to focus. Just like Peyton Manning, when he went back to Indy in 2016, and the Broncos lost that game embarrassingly because Peyton Manning even admitted that it was extremely emotional after they did a tribute for him on the scoreboard. It was extremely emotional and for him to focus, extremely difficult for him to focus because he's so emotionally affected by going back to Indy. That's tough to do. Now, Sean Payton isn't playing, but he's coaching. He's putting in the plays. He's directing the team in the direction he wants them to go. Is he going to be 100% focused? I don't know. I hope so. I thought Peyton Manning would be focused. Nope. And if you put a Justin Simmons on that defense with an emotionally person like Sean Payton going back to New Orleans, playing in New Orleans against the Saints, I don't give the Broncos much chance at all. Not much chance at all. Not with Justin Simmons back there. Not what he knows, and not with Sean Payton being emotional due to going back there. I just don't see that as being a winnable game. I really don't. Right now, with Justin Simmons not on the team, I'd say it's 50-50. I really do. I don't know what quarterback we're going to have. I know it's going to be one of the three. I don't know if it'll be Bo Nix. Could be Jerrett Stidham. Might even be Zach Wilson. I don't know. Nobody knows right now. But what I do know is it will be extremely more difficult if Justin Simmons is on the Saints when the Broncos pay a visit to New Orleans later this year in the season. Just saying, guys. Just Just saying. All right, back to the chat we go. Let's see. Kamani, that's pretty tough, dude. That's pretty tough. Kamani Dixon says my Broncos come before my wife and my family. Okay, well, I'll just leave that alone for now. I'm not going to comment. But okay, hey, I get it. I get it. It's 3 hours a week. I get it. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I get it. Kamani follows up by saying, bring Simmons back, Payton, and Payton swallow your pride. I agree. A problem with that is, though, Kamani, is does Justin Simmons want to come back? Would Justin Simmons feel like, well, now you need me because Caden Sterns is cut and you only got PJ Locke and then what? And then Jones back up. I mean, does he want to come back? Would both of them swallow their pride? I think Justin Simmons would be feel a little slighted, but I think that he would take the high road like he always has during press conferences and everything else. But would Sean Payton swallow his pride? Would George Payton swallow his pride? That I don't know. That I don't really see, because all Justin Simmons has to say is, hey, so why did you release me? You released me to save $14 million. Now you bring me back at let's say $20 million. Because that's, he's not going to come back for 14. If they let him go for 14, he's going to want more. I mean, I don't see that coming. I will absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I just don't see it. I just don't. And it saddens me. It really does, because Justin Simmons is he's a heck of a player. He's a heck of a person, heck of a player, and I think the world of this guy. I really do think the world of Justin Simmons. It's sad. I hope he goes to a team who, in his own words, respects him and wants him. I mean, obviously the Broncos didn't want him, or they would have found a way to keep him. And Kamani also followed that up by saying, yes, he's going to be hyped. And what if he gets an interception and go for a touchdown or get a safety sack? There you go. There you go. I mean, that's basically what I was saying in a nutshell when I said that he's going to be amped up. He's going to be pumped up. He's going to want to send a message. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. What if he gets, how about the winning interception? How about a winning interception? That would be devastating. Absolutely devastating. And what if Bo Nix is the quarterback in there and Bo Nix is having a really good day, and then he throws that pick to Justin Simmons, because Justin Simmons knows not what play's coming, but he has an idea, and he just jumps Cortland Sutton, or he jumps somebody else, Tim Patrick, and then runs for a touchdown. And that's the winning score. Yeah, that would be a tough pill to swallow. I think all of Broncos country would throw up as soon as that happened. Absolutely. Because we all know how fantastic of a player Justin Simmons is. And yeah, come on. I did not want to say that. You said it. I did not want to say it because I knew that it would put a bad taste in my mouth. But hey, you're 100% absolutely correct. What if? Well, we can say that about a lot of Bronco players that have gone to other teams. We can say that about Josie Jewell. What if he gets a critical sack? What about Jerry Jeudy when we play the Cleveland Browns? What if he gets a critical catch that puts him, in line for the winning field goal, or sets him up for a first and goal in the end zone, or gets a touchdown that is, puts the icing on the cake, that kind of thing. Those things are going to hurt. They're going to hurt big time. And we have enough players out there that were on the Broncos last year that are not on the Broncos this year that could do damage to the Broncos when we meet them this coming season. We got several teams that we're going to be playing that have former Broncos that were on our team last year. It's not going to be easy, guys. It's not going to be easy. People say, "Oh yeah, we're still friends." Say, yeah, but not not between the hash marks. Not on the field, you're not friends. You're trying to win the game. And as much as the Broncos are trying to win the game, so are other teams, and so are other former Bronco players who want to send a direct message to Sean Payton, George Payton, and the Broncos organization. Plain and simple. They want to send a message. And by golly, hopefully they don't. Hopefully they don't. But time will tell. Oh, man. Kamani follows up by saying, then Justin Simmons takes the winning touchdown ball and hands it to Sean Payton. Ooh, that would absolutely be more than salt in the wound. That would be a dagger. That would be an absolute dagger. I don't see Justin Simmons lowering himself like that. I really don't. He doesn't seem to be that type of person. Whenever he had his interview, or not interview, but his press conference and things like that, he didn't really seem to be that. I don't know. Maybe when you're on the field and you have all your emotions running and things of that nature, who knows? Maybe he would do something like that. But somehow, some way, I see if that were the case, Sean Payton would just slap the ball out of his hand. I would think. Sean Payton got in Russell Wilson's face. He got in other people's faces. I would tend to think that if Justin Simmons was doing that or did that, Sean Payton would knock it right out of his hands. And two wrongs don't make a right. So I don't see Justin Simmons doing that. Hopefully he doesn't get a chance to even think about it, because hopefully he doesn't get a winning interception should he join the New Orleans Saints. All right, let's move on to the very last topic for today's show. Once again, guys, thanks for being a part of the show. Whether you're in the chat or you're just watching, thank you so very much. Really do appreciate it. If you like the show, if you like the content, if you like this crazy 66-year-old guy talking about football, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. You can subscribe to MHRT Network as well as Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. Please do so. That means a lot. Really do appreciate it. Also, hit the thumbs up. That lets everybody else know that comes across the channel that, hey, you like the show, you like the content, and it really does show other people how much you do like the show. So I really do appreciate that, guys. Please do so. Thank you so much. All right, very last topic, and here it is. All right, here is the unofficial depth chart that Sean Payton has released prior to the first preseason game this Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts. All right, let me get into it. It's a little bit lengthy, but we'll break it down. All right, here we go. With the Broncos preseason set to get underway this Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts, Denver has released their depth chart. Last Tuesday, it was revealed that Bo Nix was listed first. Nope. Okay, well, yeah, he's second because Stidham is the incumbent, right? So Bo Nix was listed as second. Nope. Listen to this. Eye-opening to me. Last Tuesday, it was revealed that Bo Nix was listed as the third quarterback, not the first. No, wait a minute. Zach Wilson was a non-participant in the last few practices with the number ones. He wasn't. It was Stidham and Bo Nix. So how in the world is Zach Wilson above Bo Nix in the depth chart? Doesn't make any sense. Hold on. Sean Payton explains. It's Jerrett Stidham, Zach Wilson, and then Bo Nix. According to Sean Payton, here is his reasoning. He said, and I quote, this is interesting. Rookies don't get any love on the first depth chart. What? Rookies don't get any love? What if they're playing great? What if you have, a receiver that just lighten it up and he's a rookie? You go always all of a sudden just goes to the bottom? Really? In preseason, you're not going to be playing somebody who's doing really well, even though they're a rookie. You're not going to be playing them with your first string? That doesn't make any sense. If you're doing well, why would you not be playing with the first string? Let me continue. Still quoting Sean Payton. Every rookie is buried on the first depth chart. Why? Every rookie's buried? Why? Don't want to lose their confidence, like playing with the first string and making a lot of mistakes because you're going against the other team's first string? Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it also has a fact to do that Jerrett Stidham is the only quarterback on the Broncos team that was on the Broncos team under Sean Payton last year and played the last two games of the season and went 500. Won a game, lost a game. Maybe that's a reason. But why Zach Wilson ahead of Bo Nix when Zach Wilson was absolutely removed from the first string the last two practices? Well, once again, maybe it's because Zach Wilson has been in the NFL and knows the NFL type of system. Bo Nix doesn't. He's a rookie. But Sean Payton has said many times, Bo Nix is learning this system very quickly. He's soaking it up like a sponge. He's asking awesome questions. He's learning everything he can. He's absorbing everything we're telling him and teaching him. He's got great footwork. He releases the ball quick. He's got great accuracy. Oh, but he's a rookie, so he's at the bottom of the barrel. Makes no sense. So when he comes in the game, he's not going to be playing with the first or even against the first. Okay? I mean, Sean Payton's a head coach in the NFL, and he's had success. I'm not a head coach in the NFL. I've never had success in the NFL because I've never been in the NFL. So, I mean, I can't say that he doesn't know what he's doing. What I can say, it doesn't make sense to this guy. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make sense to me. But let me continue. All right, let me continue. And I'm still quoting Sean Payton. I have to have a depth chart for the NFL, so it's easy to push the rookie players to the back of the line. Okay, I'm not trying. Here's a excuse me, guys. Here's the spin side of it. Then he follows it up by saying, it's easy to push the rookie players to the back of the end of the line. But I'm not trying to send messages. Well, what are you sending if you're not sending messages? You're telling everybody this is a depth chart, that it's easy to push the rookies back to the end of the line because they're rookies. Oh, but I'm not trying to send a message. The key word there is trying. He didn't say I'm not sending messages. He says I'm trying not to send messages. But you're sending messages, Sean. Let me continue. Rookies are just sent to the back of the line, period, end quote. Okay, so it's easy to send them to the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. But I'm not trying to send a message, but it's just easy to put them in the back. You're sending a message, dude. You're sending a message, and the message is rookies are at the bottom of the barrel, period. Oh, even if you're drafted number 12 in the draft order this year, and he's a quarterback, and you want him to be your franchise quarterback, but you put him at the back of the line. Wow. Okay. So we'll see what happens. Then I need to follow that up. It's not on the screen because I just got it right before the show started, that the order for the first game of the preseason is going to be Jerrett Stidham's going to start out. Then it's going to be Bo Nix, not Zach Wilson. The depth chart was a depth chart that they had to give to the NFL. They can move it around a little bit and finalize it, but they had to put out a depth chart on Tuesday, which they did. That's why Bo Nix was put at the bottom of the barrel, so to speak, or the back of the line. But now as it's getting closer towards the first preseason game, and they've had numerous practices, and Bo Nix has gotten better, or whatever the reason is, it's now Stidham's going to start. Bo Nix is going to come in at some point in time in the first game, and then Zach Wilson will finish up, most likely against the third string line. So there you have it as far as the depth chart. What does it mean? Probably means nothing. Probably means nothing. But then again, some of those words and some of those comments that Sean Payton made, I'm trying not to. I'm doing my best. I'm trying not to. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Come Sunday, I will be watching the game. Come Sunday, I'm going to really, really enjoy watching. And I'll probably have something to say about it on my next show this coming Friday. This next Friday. Excuse me. All right, let's get back to the chat. Kamani says, hey, Bill, you're 66. Wow, I'm 11 years older. I am, me, not him. I'm 11 years older than Kamani. Okay, great. Kamani, well, good. You got a lot of years ahead of you. That's great, man. It's fantastic. I hope I don't look 66. I hopefully don't sound 66. I hope my energy and whatnot coming across on the show doesn't come across as 66. So, hey, my mom used to say, you're as young as you feel, and I dang sure don't feel 66. So that's great, man. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Kamani follows up by saying, once again, Sean Payton is out of his mind. It's time for him to go. He's a joke. I'm not really going to go down that road as far as saying or agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree to your comment somewhat, but we've only seen Sean Payton with Russell Wilson. We've not seen Sean Payton with a Bo Nix. We haven't seen Sean Payton with Jerrett Stidham more than 2 games. The whole Russell Wilson thing is behind us. And so the whole Hackett thing is behind us. So I'm not really looking back at 2022 and 2023. I'm really looking forward to 2024 and where this Bronco team can go. And but if Sean Payton struggles again with getting wins from his team, if it doesn't seem to be working, yes, then at some point in time, Kamani, I think you do have to let him go. He signed a 5-year contract. I don't know if Denver would get rid of him any sooner than maybe year 4. If the Broncos are not moving up in wins and in the division, that could be. I think they're going to give him at least 3 years to get the Broncos moving in the right direction. But if it's not moving in the right direction, then yeah, I do see where there could be definitely movement. Kamani y'all says you got to let the rookie start so he can get his feet wet. I hope Payton gets fired. Is jackass? You want me to make him the jackass of the week? I agree that you have to start him, but do you start and destroy his confidence? Let's say you start him against Indy, and the Colts come out with their number 1 defense, and Bo Nix just gets rattled, and he throws a couple of interceptions. Or he gets sacked a couple of times that are his fault. He didn't get rid of the ball. Or he can't get the play in time and you get to delay a game. Anything like that. His confidence could get destroyed. And I don't think that the Broncos want to go down that road. I certainly don't want to see that. Because once you get a quarterback's confidence shaken, it's very, very difficult to get back. Look at Cam Newton. After the Broncos and Von Miller destroyed him in Super Bowl 50, he never was the same. And that's because Von Miller got into his head and destroyed his confidence, destroyed his ability to think clearly, to be that quarterback that he was prior to getting his butt kicked in the Super Bowl. Literally. I mean, sack after sack and disruption and all of that. I can't have that from a Bo Nix. I can't. We got to bring him on slowly. Am I in favor of him starting week 1 against Seattle? I don't know. Like I've said many, many times, I don't care who starts. I don't care who plays. I really don't. Just get W's. I don't care who starts. He could be Zach Wilson if he's the best. I don't really care. I just want W's. I understand what you're saying, Kamani. I totally understand what you're saying. But I'm not really wanting a Bo Nix to start if he's not going to be 100% confident. He may not be confident right now. Maybe he's not confident. Maybe it's good that he doesn't start right away. Maybe it is good. He can sit there and watch and see how the speed of the game is against another team that is trying to literally sack you. Unlike the Broncos practices where the own defense isn't going to rough up Bo Nix. When you're in a game, even if it's preseason, these guys are fighting for their jobs. The Colts players are fighting for their job. They're going to come after Bo Nix and Jerrett Stidham and Zach Wilson as hard as they can and as tough as they can. And if you're not physically and mentally ready and prepared to not implode, then I don't want to see him in there. I just don't want to see him in there. Kamani says, I am heated, Hitman Bill. I think Sean Payton's on drugs. I know you're heated, man. I know. I can tell. I can totally tell, man. And I get it. I totally get it, man. And I agree. I agree to a certain degree. Does that make sense? I agree to a certain degree. Anyways, yeah. But I see where you're coming from, Kamani. I just am a little hesitant to throw him to the wolves, so to speak. If it's baby steps that he needs, then and to be a fantastic quarterback and play in the league for 10, 12, 15 years, I'm totally in favor. Totally in favor. I just don't want to see this young kid's confidence be shaken, destroyed, have a major setback. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Okay, Kamani disagreed with me. That's totally fine. Totally fine. Let Bo Nix start. I disagree with you, Bill. He needs his feet wet. He needs to experience the good and the bad. All right? You make great points. Let's just see what week 1 preseason brings. And let's see if Bo Nix starts week 2. If he starts week 2, then that's a move in the right direction. So, I mean, we can't change anything about him going in after Jerrett Stidham in week 1 preseason. We can't change that. That's already, etched in stone, so to speak. So let's just see how, all 3 quarterbacks fare against the Colts. And let's just maybe Stidham only play 1 series. And then Bo Nix plays the entire first quarter and second quarter. Who knows? And then Zach Wilson gets 3rd and 4th. I don't know. We don't know. So let's just take it with a grain of salt. Let's sit back. Let's watch the game. Let's see how it plays out. And then hopefully Bo Nix starts in week 2 and starts again in week 3 and then opens up the season against Seattle. That's the best case scenario that we can hope for at this point in time. But I appreciate your comment. Kamani, I appreciate everybody's comments in the chat. I appreciate everybody being watching and listening or wherever you may be. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Before I get out of here, let me go right down the list of people who are in the chat. And we'll start with Rudy Torres, my brother-in-law from Vegas. Then we got Kamani Dixon. Really do appreciate it. Then we have Mile High Salute, Denver Bronco for Life, abbreviated, Big E Bronco. And really do appreciate each and every one of you taking your time out on a very, very busy, Friday evening. And really do thank each and every one of you for your support, for your dedication to the show, and to the network, as well as my channel, Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. Really do appreciate it, guys, for I thought that was supposed to be off. Oh, yes, there we go. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching, for listening, for being a part of the show, for your support. This show would not be anywhere near as good as it is if it wasn't for you guys. I thank you guys greatly from the bottom of my heart each and every week. You guys are the best of Broncos Breakdown. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. It means the world to the show, to the network, to myself. And hit the thumbs up. That lets everybody else know that comes across the channel that you like the show, you appreciate the content, and this crazy guy talking about sports. Really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so very, very much. Enjoy your rest of your Friday evening, wherever you may be. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks once again, guys. Enjoy Broncos' first preseason game of the 2024 season at Indianapolis. Check, I believe it's Network, NFL Network. Check the time wherever you may be. If you can watch it, great. If not, DVR it if you have the chance. But and we will talk about, we'll break down some of the points on that most likely next Friday. Until then, guys, like I said, enjoy your weekend. We will talk to you next Friday. Kamani, going out with your comments says, enjoy your bill. Kamani for Bo Nix. There you go, man. You got Bo Nix vote. There it is, guys. Till then, guys, next Friday, we will talk to you. Have a fantastic weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street. Bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flame out. So high, I might never come down.